despair, anguish, hatred.
The age-old question. Good versus evil. Light versus dark. Jade versus Stalker. Kendrick versus Drake. Actually, we already know the winner of that last one. I wonder who's going to win this one. Hey, what's happening everybody? Hope you guys are feeling great. I'm Team Kills and what I like to do is make gaming easier. So, isn't this just great? I love the fact that they have a lighter side to the Stalker and the weapons. Plus, they've got a Stalker baby. Like, I've always thought of these guys as the Acolytes as Stalker babies, but now the Acolytes have a little brother. Or a little sister? I'm not exactly sure what this terrifyingly cute thing is. There was no actual gender reveal. Anyways, now, good versus evil, light versus dark. This has always been a good question, but this is what I call an unfair compare. And I say this because of the incarnate transformations. Unless or until the light versions get a incarnate upgrade, you might as well just choose the dark. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Let's actually take a real look at this. The hate, I would say, is the better axe. Incarnate transformation. But the hate is a crit weapon. The harmony is a status weapon. You could technically go either way with both, but with the hate you'll end up getting status death, which is technically a crit status. And you can go crit with the harmony, but it's a much better status weapon. Like, really, really good status weapon. Such a good status weapon that I decided to lean into the status. I put Carnus Mandible on for some slip wall status, but also when I do heavy attack, and I do heavy attacks in this build, but when I do a heavy attack, I get an extra couple seconds of slipperiness. Jungler's Barbs will have a tentacle come up and slam people around when I do slams, but like I always say, it's not as cool as it sounds. Because I will have a 100% status effect, Conditioned Overload will add an extra 80% damage to whatever status is affecting the target. And I decided to try out Melee Elementalist for a 90% status damage boost, plus 60% heavy attack wind-up speed, because like I said, I'd be doing heavy attacks with this weapon. Focus Radon gives me 60% radiation and 40% heavy attacks efficiency because heavy attacks, yes. The reason why I'm doing heavy attacks is because of its special ability. When you do a heavy attack, all the status ticks, slashes, whatever build up, all piles into one instance, or basically just an explosion. It's just more damage, plus an extra 30% duration on the status, but they're gonna die. So yeah, all this is fan-freaking-tastic. I put Opportunity Reach as my Tennokai mod for some extra reach, just because these axes don't have a lot of reach. And I chose Melee Exposure for an extra 60% corrosive status when I use an ability. It can stack up to 240, but I just wanted some more status on this beautiful status weapon. But with all that said and done, the hate, it's still a better weapon than Harmony, in my opinion. Now the Canter is better than the Despair. I think it would be unfair to give the Canter an incarnate upgrade transformation, but let's hope they all get one anyways. Now, the Despair, it is good. It has an incarnate transformation, but the Canter base stats is just better, period, all around. Now I know the incarnate damage boost and explosions, which I think is a weird thing to put on a stealth weapon, but whatever. I know the incarnate boost would make you say the Despair's better, but the Canter, man, it has 6 weapons or 6 bullets in the barrel, maybe 7, maybe 12, depends on how you count. When you unload all 6 of your daggers, they're going to come back to you. Now anything that's in the line of sight is going to catch 300% critical damage, and it's a fantastic thing to do. It's a fantastic thing to watch. You're never going to run out of ammo. Now because of the Incarnate transformation, some could say that the Despair is better than the Canter, but if you turn the Canter into a crit weapon, it's just better. It's got more of everything, and it happens to be silent. I don't know. I think that's just an added bonus for a dagger, my opinion. The Eversong is not better than the Dread. The Dread has always been a crit monster, and now it's an Incarnate crit monster. But the Eversong is not the same kind of weapon. You can go crit, but this is a status weapon. The Dread's better, but this is nobody's hoe. Their damage is very close, so it's almost how you build them. But like I said, this is a status weapon. Its unique ability, it uses enough puncture procs that when you hit an enemy, they are 100% useless. All they can do is stand there and do, well, nothing, because they can't damage your enemies. And they get a 35% crit damage vulnerability. Unless, of course, they die. Then that 35% turns into 35% multi-shot for the rest of your teammates. I don't know if it's a better weapon as far as utilities. In Warframe, damage is king. So, the Dread is better. But this is not the same kind of weapon. This is not used for the same kind of thing, in my opinion. So I leaned into the status. You can lean more into the status, more into the damage, more into the crit. As always, do whatever you want. But I leaned more into the status at like 121%. I wanted to try out the Rifle Elementalist to give me an extra 90% damage plus a 0.6 meter punch through to hit more enemies. But to be honest, I've had better success using Shivering Contagion. I know it says 30%, but when I charge, it seems to freeze guys 100% of the time. It's what I'm seeing. Maybe this is the only time I'm being lucky, but it seems like a weapon that you could experiment a lot with a lot of different status and effects. It's not the Dread. Dread's better. We can compare them, but I feel like it's such a different weapon that it's not the Dread. Dread's better. Now, I guess we technically can compare Jade and the Stalker, but you can only really get your hands on the Stalker in certain situations, like the Undercroft, sometimes. And right now there's an event going on where you can use him now, but barring that, Jade is the one that we can use and upgrade, change, subsume her abilities, and put abilities on her and turn into whatever we want. I think just the fact that we can use her makes her better. So if we look at the actual tally, I guess the light side is better, maybe? I don't really know, to be honest. As always, pick what you want. Shit, mix and match. Doesn't really matter. Personally, I feel like this is an unfair compare because the light side, to me, is more of a stealth type option. The dark side, that's good to go loud. Now, whether you want to go quiet or loud, that's really up to you. It depends on your playstyle. To be honest, I switch back and forth. Sometimes mid-level. I'll start quiet, then go loud. So, which one's better is basically whichever ones you can get your hands on. Of course. Like I said, unfair compare. Actually, you almost should mix and match when you think about it. It's kind of weird. Stalker's weapons, they're loud, but Stalker's abilities makes them go quiet. Jade's weapons, they're quiet, but Jade's abilities, she's definitely loud, flying around, shooting, she's just causing pain. Like, the computer knows what Jade is. And as far as Jade's abilities, that's a whole video by itself. And it's going to be a little while before I come up with something not meta or something weird. So, if you haven't, join the team of killers. Become a killer of teams. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. It's one of the ways we can talk. Make sure you keep it easy in life. And remember, just keep gaming.